Hi.
Hi.
Long time no see.
All right, you ready to rock?
I am ready to rock.
Let's rock. Welcome back to the OutRun Us Podcast. I am your host, Taylor Rockwell. With me, I have my beautiful, amazing 5 out of 5, fantastic, gorgeous, 10 out of 10 co-host.
Kitija. Hi, my name is Kitija, and you can call me Kitija.
Okay, we have a lot to talk about. 1, world's toughest mile. 2, I decided to get my life together and do everything backwards. 3, Kitija is literally killing this month's challenge. 4, Kitija is coming to Austin. She's going to be in the US very, very soon. And 5, we need an update. Is Kitija still sad? So let's just jump right into it. World's toughest mile.
Tell me. Because I actually saw somewhere on Instagram, and then I was like, oh my God, this is insane. But I didn't know this was their first time doing it. And it was in Austin. And I actually checked about date and everything. And then I was like, oh, I wish I could be there at the time. And then you tell me you're doing it. And I was like, oh my God, no way. So tell me, what is World's Toughest Mile? How did it go? What did you have to do? And what did you learn after it?
So World's Toughest Mile is around the track. It's 1 lap of burpee broad jumps, 1 lap of lunges, 1 lap of bear crawl, and then the 4th lap is a run. Now, I also had no idea what World's Toughest Mile was. C just asked me, hey, do you want to do World's Toughest Mile with me? And honestly, when he asked me, I was so busy in editing a video. I had no idea, couldn't give much capacity to that conversation. So I was just like, yeah, sure. He was like, I just sent you a link, sign up. And I was like, will you just sign up for me? And he's like, sure. He signed me up. I didn't even know what it was. He didn't say you have to do exercises. I hear World's Toughest Mile. I think run. I can run. I'll be there. At no point was I oh, I'm going to have to be doing high rocks exercises. That never even occurred to me. And then so I looked it up the day before because I made a video being like, guess my time. And I was like, wait, let me figure out what it is. So then I looked it up right before I made that video. And I was like, wait, what? I have to do what?
And just before you go into it, when was the last time you did the burpee?
Burpee is not the problem. When's the last time I did a bear crawl? I was 2 years old the last time I've been crawling around the floor.
True. But I think with that, I wouldn't even consider bear crawl hard because burpee always takes the spotlight because everyone hates burpees. Nobody ever talks about bear crawl.
Yeah, I don't know. I had no expectations. You know me. I'm like, I don't want to think this is going to be hard. I don't want to think it's going to be easy. I'm just going to go experience, have fun, and make some content. So anyway, morning comes and I did the fun league. There was competitive league as well, but I did the fun league. Why is the fun league at the beginning of the day, early morning? But it's fine. I'm a new me. But at that time, that week, I was like, why do I have to wake up early to do this? So I went there. We made some videos. We made some content, and everyone was really interested. What is it? So anyway, we get started. They explain the rules, what you cannot do. Essentially, it's just good form through and through. That's basically all you need to know. They're like, okay, ready, go. And you run to the start line. And then I get to the start line, and then I don't know what, my brain was like, ready, go, any other start line. And then when I got there, I was like, oh yeah, I need to drop down and start doing burpees. My brain literally didn't know what to do. And then everybody else just stopped running and got on the floor. And I was like, oh yeah. That's what we got to do. So then anyway, I just started doing it. And in my head, I just approached it 1 step at a time. That's how I approach the marathons. That's how I approach the ultras. I knew that as long as I just kept going and I didn't stop, there will be a finish line. And so all I wanted to do during that time was just experience and have fun, and that's what I did. Was definitely experience. They gave you rubber gloves at the beginning with actual grippies, garden gloves. I've never had to gear up for an event and they're like, here's your gloves, your protective gear. And so I was like, thank goodness they provided these, because I wouldn't have even thought to bring gloves. My hands were protected, my knees were not. I ended up getting road rash on my knees, and those were a little cut up. And not that I really care, but I'm not trying to mess up my tattoos on my legs, so I was kind of a little cautious of that. But nonetheless, yeah, we did the burpees. After the first first loop around for the burpees, I felt sick. Like I had to throw up. And I usually am not somebody who feels sick from working out. So that kind of was, oof, I need to get it together.
Mm.
Also, I just didn't eat breakfast, which is like a huge party foul on my end. But I was like, okay, so by the time I was doing lunges, I was just trying to catch my breath and take deep breaths because I didn't want to feel sick and I didn't want to vomit all over that course. But I think it was just from being upside down in the burpee and like going up and down is kind of what made me just feel a little nauseous, because once I did like half a lap of the lunges, I was feeling better. And then, yeah, the bear crawls were just probably really difficult because my wrists, like, when's the last time you train your wrists to take that much, like, load? Like, I have little baby flimsy wrists. They were not enjoying that experience at all. At the end of it, basically, when it came down to, like, the last lap and I got my run in, it just felt like I've never been more happy to just run. It's so freeing. Lilo was there, so she ran the last lap with me. She crossed the finish line with me. She's so happy. Lilo's my dog. And she was smiling. Everyone's cheering. She was loving the spotlight. So it was a fun event through and through. My official chip time was 1 hour and 16 minutes. My Garmin clocked 1 hour and 17 minutes, but it doesn't matter. That was how long it took me to do that. The guy who made the world's fastest mile, he PR'd the course. Like, he did his fastest mile and he did it in 28 minutes.
No way. That's
Mhm.
that's actually, because I remember you asked people to guess the time, and when somebody guessed 77 minutes, you was like, no faith. And then you ended up actually doing 77 minutes. Marcus does like high rocks and those kind of exercises, so I thought he could be quite accurate with it because obviously he kind of knows what it takes for you to do those things, but you was like, no faith. But 28 minutes, that's insane. That's actually so fast, because I remember I saw this video where they said it's around 150 burpees.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then you have to do the lunges, and then you have to do the bear crawl, and then you have to run 28 minutes. That's actually insane.
Yeah, the worst part is like afterwards my legs were shaking. They were like, doing the little spasm. And then shortly through the evening, I started to get stiff. And like, if you're getting sore the day of an exercise, that's usually like a bad indication for like the next following day. And the next day I woke up and my eyes like flickered open and like I didn't even have to move for me to just be like, like I can't move. Like I don't know where I'm gonna go from here. My abs are still like pretty like sore, and it's been a whole week later. Like I still can feel them. Other than that, my shoulders are a little tired, but I think I have a pretty good recovery as of now.
Do you, if your abs are still hurting a week later? I
Well,
mean,
the problem is then later that week I did another ab exercise, so I don't know if that helped because they were already kind of sore, and then I did another one on top of them, so they're just like, "Come on, girl, get it together."
does that mean you're going to do more high rocks type of exercises now?
Probably not. Honestly, I have fun making a guest appearance, but I don't see myself transitioning anytime soon.
I mean, I think it would be good to add some sort of endurance weight exercises in your weekly routine, which you have been doing, right? You did do some weights
So I have a
recently.
tonal. It's all like resistance weight. So I don't like actually lift weights, but it's you put on like resistant weight. I do technically like lift, but not like I'm not going to a gym lifting iron. So
Throw
I don't want to
plates
say
around.
yeah, I don't like not work out like at all because I work out enough just to keep. Okay, this is the difference. I work out to support my runs. So a lot of all of the weightlifting I do is just to prep my muscles to be strong enough for me to withhold the volume that I'm trying to withhold. So my goals with working out, especially like lifting weights, is just to support an endurance run activity versus like sometimes I feel like high rocks is to like lean out and like build muscle, and those aren't my goals. It's just like my intention's a little different, if that makes sense.
But we're still going to do leg day together, right?
Yes, we'll get to that in a moment. Because I want to hear how you're doing in the challenge because This month's challenge is not an easy one. Spoiler alert, Kitija is the last one in this challenge. Everybody else has dropped out some way, for some reason than another. So I want to talk about your experience with the challenge. Go ahead and explain what April's challenge is and how you've been conquering it and what your goals are moving forward, if any.
Okay, so April's challenge is run the day. And on the 1st of April, we ran 1 mile, on the second, 2 miles, so on until the end of April. Obviously, on the 30th, we ran 30 miles, which obviously doesn't seem a lot in the beginning because it's like 1, 2, 3 miles. But when you go into the last 7 days, I think it's like 189 miles in 7 days.
Really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah. And I think you come out with almost 500 miles by the end of the month. So we are currently on the day 25. I'm just after my run. I have finished my 25 miles for today, and I still have how many? 5 runs left to do.
I think you have 6.
And
I think we have 31 days.
no,
Oh, you
no,
got
no,
lucky.
no.
You got lucky.
Yeah. No, don't say I have to run 31 mile after running 30 miles. But I will be honest, I wasn't I don't know, somehow in the beginning of a month, I wasn't just doing 1 mile and 2 miles and 3 miles. I was running more because I wasn't fully committed to the challenge in a way that like I was just very worried about how it will work out with my time because I'm just about to leave to go to Austin and I know I would need to pack and sort out my documents, like everything. And I also have to work full time. So me just time wise, I wasn't sure if I would be able to do it. Also, on the 7th of April, I reached 100 days of running every day. So I wanted to do something silly. I couldn't run for like 10 hours because I had work. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to go out and run until it gets dark. So I ran 30 miles. And obviously, the next day I had to run 8 miles and 9 miles and everything. So it kind of like accumulated quite a lot of miles during the first few weeks. And then as I was going, I was just like, I think it was like 2 weeks in, and I was like not fully 100% committed to the challenge. And I was still thinking maybe to drop out. But then I was like, well, I'm already halfway through the month. What's another 2 weeks? Not really fully clocking that I'm going to have to do almost 200 miles in the last week. I think somebody mentioned it in the beginning of the month, but I kind of like, I just took day by day. I did split run one day on the 10th. So I ran 5 miles in the morning and 5 miles in the evening. But then once I decided to fully commit to the challenge, I decided to run all the miles in one go, which makes the challenge even harder because now I'm running 25 miles. That's like 4 hours of running, right? And now I'm kind of like, when am I going to run? Either wake up at like 4 a.m., go run in the morning, or do after work. So I have decided to do them after work because it's easier for me. Well, I say it's easier for me. How is it running over 20 miles every day for I don't know how many days easier? But I'm just fully committed to it now and I want to see it through. And it's hard. I'm not going to lie. It's hard. It's just even the thought to go out and I know I'm not going to be back for another 4 hours. It gets a little bit not dreading, but it's kind of like I'm bored of the roads. I know every single stone, I know every single tree, but I have been trying to drive out to different parks and just kind of like change the scenery. But other than that, it's not, obviously, it's getting harder physically and I'm sleeping a lot more, but also I can't sleep too much because obviously I need to work and then I need to run. So I'm just getting limited with the time, but it's only 5 days more left.
Okay, I want to go back to a past conversation that we've had a couple episodes ago. I think it was almost a month ago, where you were saying I'm really, really sad. And I think it's because I keep having to level up my goals. We had the conversations about why we run. Are we running for goals? Are we running for ourselves? Why do we always feel this need for more miles, bigger challenges, bigger distance, faster distances? And you said, like, I need to get away from that. I don't want any goals for a while. I want to get back to the real reason why I run, and that's for me. And so now that we have this challenge sitting in front of us and you've been about a month out from that conversation, how do you feel like you are handling the goals aspect of running so many miles in a day, achieving yet another goal or another challenge? And is it making you happier? Are you experiencing more sadness? Have you had any reflections come out of this experience to help give an update on where you're at with the status of our last conversation?
That's a really good question. Well, multiple questions in one, but I think that's why I wasn't fully committed to the challenge right away, because I didn't know if this is what I was looking for, because I didn't want to chase another goal, and I knew that I'm going to have a lot of other things to do and everything. That's why I was kind of like, I needed to sit with myself and think, is this me chasing something again? I kind of decided that obviously I want to see through the challenge, but I'm also realizing that nobody is making me do it and nobody's expecting me to do it. I'm just doing it because I want to. And if I want to drop out tomorrow, I can drop out tomorrow. And there's no hard feelings and nothing happens. It's just the ability that I can go out. And also, it's sunny outside. It's such a good weather. And I'm just thinking to myself, what else am I going to do? Am I going to sit and watch TV? I don't even own a TV. It's just changing the perspective that, like, if I do decide to drop out, I can drop out. Nothing is going to happen. I can still run the miles, whatever I'm going to run the miles. I don't know how to explain. I don't have the pressure of how I usually have I put pressure on myself when I try to achieve a goal. When I'm training for a marathon, and I'm always like, I can't miss this training. I can't miss this run or lifting weights or whatever. And I always beat myself up for it. But now I feel like I'm okay if I don't finish the challenge. I want to challenge myself, and I'm quite enjoying how hard it is, because it kind of teaches me it's not physically as hard as it is mentally. But I do believe that that's where the growth happens for me, because in the future, what's running 4 hours without no mental stimulation at all? I won't struggle with it. So I'm trying to find different benefits from the run, and also acknowledging that I can do it and I don't have to do it. I don't know, it's hard to explain how it has changed, but unless you're in my brain, I don't think I can fully understand it, because, like, as I said, when I have trained for a marathon, if I missed a session, I would beat myself up. Like, I would actually beat myself up really badly.
I think I can kind of help bridge the gap, because this morning I was out on my run and I was running with a friend, and I was telling him how I ran the least amount of miles last week. It was 25 miles. I haven't ran that little volume in a very long time, to the point where it kind of like slapped me in the face, kind of like, what's going on? And usually for myself, my miles are a direct indication of, or a direct mirror of, how I'm showing up and performing in the rest of my life. If you look at my Strava, the stats on my Strava usually are a direct indication of how I'm doing mentally, how I'm showing up in my friendships, my relationships, my workflow, just taking care of business, being present, like making content. So to see my miles so low was just me looking in the mirror being like, I'm not showing up as a good friend, as a good dog mom, coworker, as like, am I even doing enough in my content? And so anyway, I was telling this story to the person that I'm running with this morning. And he was like, Taylor, you're being so hard on yourself. Like, you're crazy. Like, think about how many people who run 25 miles in a week, and that's extreme volume for them. And like, you're treating it like it's so little to you, but like, that's still a lot. And honestly, like, I just didn't resonate with what he was saying. Like, to some degree, I can see where he's coming from, but that wasn't exactly what I was looking for, because like, for you, you're somebody that I take a lot of wisdom from your words. I feel like you're somebody that I would listen to. Kitija would never tell me that. Kitija would never say 25 miles is good enough, Taylor. That's crazy. Think about all the other people that are doing that. And in fact, I ran 25 miles and you came to me and you're like, so what are you doing? Like, why is it so low? And to me, it's like, yeah, why is it so low? And so I guess for me, how I'm relating it back to you is like, it's almost like a standard we put on ourselves, not a law, not a rule, but essentially just like a philosophy of how we choose to show up in our miles. And for you, you're saying, I want to choose to show up in my miles in a way that represents who I am, the energy I'm putting out there. Let's say like the performance, the output, like everything that I'm putting out in my miles is essentially like how I'm showing up as a person. So like if you're showing up in your miles running 25 miles today, 26 tomorrow, 27 the next day, and not because you have to because it's a chore. Perhaps if you felt like you had to because it was a chore, that's how you would feel in like your work. I just have to go to work because it's a chore. I just have to film this podcast because it's a chore. I just need to film content and put more content out because it's a chore. Instead, this is teaching you to feel liberated that like you get to, because you're showing up in your miles, now you get to come to this podcast and talk about it. So I think it's just more of like the intention of how you choose to show up is kind of the difference between like, yeah, like when I told him, hey, I'm only running 25 miles. And he was like, Taylor, you're being hard on yourself. I literally told him, I was like, no, my intention that week was terrible. I didn't even want to run, which for me not to want to run is crazy. And I was waiting till 11:59 to start all of my runs. Like I know that my intention that week was not where it needed to be. Like if my intention that week was to run 25 of the world's toughest miles, then perhaps I wouldn't have been so hard on myself. But I knew that my intention showing up that week was not where it needed to be. So you're just acknowledging that like your intention behind doing this challenge isn't to have to do a challenge, isn't have to show up for a training block, have to hit a certain goal, have to get faster. It's literally just like you have free will and this is how you choose to spend that free will. Am I hitting the mark? Am I off? What do you think?
No, I think it is exactly that. I keep saying in my head quite a lot, I don't have to do it, I get to do it. Because I know within myself now that I have decided that I'm not going to beat myself up if I do choose, but I'm still going to keep running either way because that's me choosing to put the shoes on. I don't feel as though it's a chore anymore. You know, because sometimes you can feel that it's a chore, and I don't feel like it's a chore. It's just hard for me to find the time for it.
Last week in the TSP episode, the speed project where I ran from Los Angeles to Las Vegas, afterwards I got a tattoo that said no spectators, and we started to hit on what that means to us. And I kind of want to bring that up to have a better conversation now. But essentially, last week we were saying no spectators is like how you show up when nobody's watching. And taking it from a running perspective, you start a marathon and everyone's out there holding a sign saying, go, 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 just one more, halfway there. Everyone's clapping you on, smiling. When I ran Speed Project, not one person was on the side of the road with a sign saying, go, go, go. And so it was kind of like, oh, no spectators. Like, how do you run when no one's watching? But you and I, we don't necessarily treat running like a hobby or like a sport that we enjoy. We treat running like a philosophy. How we show up in running is usually how we show up in our daily life. So my question to you is, in your daily life, having no spectators, having nobody on the side of the road knowing that you're on mile 20 and you've done this 6 days in a row, how do you feel like having no spectators, showing up for yourself when nobody's watching, literally nobody, not even Strava, Garmin, anybody? How do you feel like taking that mentality is affecting your overall like mental health? Because like before you were saying, I'm sad because I need a goal. How do you feel like no spectators is really a way of embodying a better mindset, a better mind flow for how you approach your miles?
I think this is one of the reasons why I run on my own most of the time. I think I have run with somebody twice, except when I was in the States with you, then we run together all the time. I feel like I run on my own. I don't have to perform to anyone's standard in a way that like I run how it feels good to me, how I like to run. Obviously, I still put things on Strava and I still put things on Instagram, but I feel like as though that it could come across I am sort of bragging about it, but me sharing those things is almost, I want to show people that it's possible. I kind of enjoy not having anyone around me cheering me on, saying anything, because I feel like that's where you grow mentally. It's easy when you run with others. It's easy when you have support around you all the time. It's easy when on a marathon, like how much energy does the people give you? But how much energy can you give yourself? How much energy where do you get it from? Because then when you go out and run a marathon, it's so much better. This is why I also don't run races with music, because the energy that the spectators give you is like there's no other, you can't compare it to anything else. I don't think even music gives you that much energy that the spectators do.
Yeah, I call it race day magic because a lot of the times when people are running their first marathon, they ask me, like, whatever. I'm like, honestly, you're not even going to fill the first 3 to 5 miles because you're going to be on just like such a high from like the cheering and the crowds out. Like, you won't even fill the beginning of the race. And usually it's when you get around mile 8 to 13 is usually when like half marathon and marathons start breaking up. And if you're doing the full marathon and everyone else is doing the half marathon, usually the back half of a marathon is a very quiet, lonely road. And it can be almost extremely conflicting because at the beginning of the race, everyone's, yeah. And then you're on mile 13 and suddenly not one person is out there cheering for you. And it becomes a lot more sparse in the runners. There's hardly any spectators. And I think like what you're saying is like, can you build that energy, that momentum yourself? Just like magic there. Can you show up for yourself every day in a way that's, I don't know, I guess like more to come on that. Like it's one of those things you have to feel and experience yourself. And for me, I enjoy running alone too because that's when I feel as if I become most creative, when I can actually reflect, when I have like my best ideas, when I'm shining at my greatest frequency is usually when I'm running alone because I can spend all my energy on myself. If I'm running with somebody else, usually my attention is mostly on them. I can't have inner monologue and think about an idea and think about what I need to be working on when I'm having a conversation with somebody else because at that moment I'm just focused on them and like what we're talking about. So it is kind of almost a superpower that you get the opportunity to be alone so often and show up for yourself so often in solitude that when you get to come out and play and go on a course and be involved in your community, in a way, it's like just like a victory lap
It
for you.
it adds so much. That's why I'm kind of also in this challenge leaning into the mental toughness, because when I'm out, like when we're gonna run together next week, I'm gonna be like, can we go for another 10 miles, another 20 miles? Because I'm gonna have all this energy and all this like excitement. And that's why another reason why I want to, try and do the runs in one go, because that is harder. But going back to not spectators, I have been thinking about it quite a lot in my daily life as well, because sometimes like what you do at home and how you show up for yourself is also important, not just running, and I have been thinking about what does my life look like? What do I do? Do I don't know, leave a messy kitchen? Do I do all those things, like not for somebody to show up and just like come inside and see your mess, but you're kind of like doing all those things for yourself. So this is something that I have been thinking about a lot, how I show up for myself in other aspects of life. And I think that is so important because I feel like that we always perform. I think that there's so much performance into our daily lives, how we perform for our partners, how we perform for work, and how we perform for everything. And I just try and always think I'm not doing anything for anyone. And I'm doing everything for me. As selfish as it sounds, but it's true. At the end of the day, it is true. So yeah, I'm just been thinking about it a lot, how I perform in my daily life and nobody watches me.
No, this is very similar to the conversation I was having this morning where I was saying, my friend was saying, Taylor, you're being hard on yourself. 25 miles is still a lot. And I was saying, like, it has nothing to do with the volume. It has everything to do with how I showed up that week. Like, I could have ran 125 miles, but if I still had that same mentality of just like barely doing it and just getting by, I would still feel the same way. The reason it affected me or why I felt so hurt that I did that for full 7 days was because I know I just wasn't shining bright the way I'm capable of. And I was telling him, essentially, running for me is my way of putting on my mask so I can help others put on their mask. And I knew that I was barely getting my mask on. Like, if anything, it was like on my forehead. It was never even getting to my nose and my mouth. Like, I was just like faking it. I was faking putting on my mask, if that makes sense, in a way that's like a metaphor of like, I was just pretending to run. I wasn't actually presently running. I wasn't actually using that time to be creative, to be excited, to do the work that I needed to do to show up in my community, in my friendships, my relationships, like everything that I produce as an output with friendships, with content, with just keeping my apartment clean. Any action step that I have that is an output, as simple as making my bed every morning, suddenly lacked purpose. Yeah, just to be like very vulnerable. Like, I haven't had a week like that where I have been so lacked integrity. And so this week, I not that I was embarrassed. It's not like I'm not doing it for anybody else. I'm doing it for me. I feel not ashamed of myself or upset with myself, just like heavily noted, and now I'm just like taking ownership in my actions last week and how do I become better this week. And yeah, everything I do is just focused on me. Even down to as little as like the things I'm putting in my mouth. Like, is this benefiting Taylor? Are the miles I'm running benefiting me? And so to kind of go into that, right now I am doing everything backwards. And this was your idea, kind of.
Tell me about your life upside down. I want to
So
know how is it going.
this is why I think it's so important to have like good friendships in your life, because you are who you hang out with. And a lot of the times, respectfully to everybody, I choose not necessarily to listen to what people's advice are full heartedly, because a lot of the time it comes with a lot of biasness based on their experience. And I'm just somebody who likes to have my own experience and come up with my own philosophy and live by my own philosophy, my own rules, laws, expectations, guidelines, because it's the difference between a friend saying, "Hey, I think 25 is still a lot of miles. You shouldn't be hard on yourself," versus my other friend, you, being like, "Taylor, you only ran 25 miles last week. What are you doing? What's happening?" Those are two different feedbacks. And which one do I choose to listen to is important. A moment of gratitude towards you, because I can trust your words. I can fully lean into your guidance because I feel like we are very similar and very aligned. That in my head, I'm like, whatever Kitija is telling me, that's what I would tell her, which in a way is like a benefit because it's like a 2020. What would Taylor tell Taylor if she was in 2020 perspective? And you essentially told me, Taylor, no matter what, your miles are going to get done because that's like where your priority is every day. So why are you waiting till 11:59 to log your miles? Why don't you just do it at the beginning of the day? Because then that way anything that you get done is kind of like extra. Like, you can be more productive at work and like it's extra, and you don't have this long run daggling over your head throughout the day. And at first I was resistance because I was like, I like my sleep. And you're like, yes, but everything in life comes with compromise. And right now, everything in your life is being compromised because you're not showing up in work, you're not showing up in content, you're not showing up X, Y, and Z. So I was like, okay, you know what? What I'm doing is not working. So like, I'll give it an honest try. So right now, I'm attempting to wake up early. And by early, I mean 6:30. And that's early for me. So nobody say anything.
That is early either way.
Either way, I feel like that's kind of like the rest of the world wakes up around 6:37. I was just sleeping in, I guess. So I'm trying to wake up at 6:30 and I'm trying to run. And at this moment, I'm just running for time rather than certain distance. And I just know that if I run for a certain amount of time, I'll land somewhere between 70 to 100 miles a week, which wherever I land in that, I'm going to be happy. So that's kind of my goal. Not necessarily goal, that's just kind of like my bare minimum, I guess. And today's Saturday. I'm sitting around 71, 72 miles. Tomorrow I'll run somewhere between 10 and 20 miles. And so I'll end up around 80 to 90 miles. Like, an old version of me probably would have been like, that's crazy. That's like a lot of miles. But to me, it's just starting to become the bare minimum. And to me, I'm just like proud of myself to be able to recognize the problem, be self-aware of the problem, and have the willingness and capability of pivoting, whatever that looks like, and being more aligned with who I know I can be. All I did differently was just change the time I wake up and the order of which I do things, and suddenly I went from running 25 miles last week to now running 80, 90 this week. There was nothing stopping me last week from being able to run 70, 80 miles except for my mindset and my output. You know, one, thank you for just being you, being a good friend, and being somebody that I can actually trust and rely on and not feel lost. And two, thank you for myself for just being self-aware enough to A, ask for help, and B, actually do something about it. I'm giving myself 30 honest days of waking up early and trying to attempt to do everything backwards. I said, like, just do it for 30 days and then we'll have a conversation. And maybe in 3 weeks from now, we can further more this conversation. But for right now, in my head, I'm just like, oh, I found the solution and like this is working and I need to continue to do it. As I was telling this same story to somebody once, they said it's the difference between waking up for somebody else, aka work, versus waking up for yourself, aka going and working out. And so I kind of have been like, he told me that and it kind of made me think like, oh yeah, why am I waking up when before I was waking up to like log in, start my day, start my meetings, prep for my meetings, and now I'm like, oh wait, now I'm waking up and I'm starting my day by putting running clothes on, prepping my body to run, cold plunging, going stretching, etc. And all of a sudden your intentions shift. It's been interesting. We will obviously finish this conversation next month, but for now, proud of myself and it's working. Obviously, the difference between 25 miles to 80 to 90 difference.
I'm proud of you too. I remember you called me that evening and I could tell there was something off. And I was like, are you sad? I think I even asked you like, is everything okay? Or I asked you, are you sad? Or something. I could tell something is off. And then I remember you were telling me that something is not working, that you can't, something is not working. So we just went into it, dived into it, because I was saying like, what is 2 miles? Why are you running 2 miles? Who runs 2 miles, Taylor? Why am I waking up to 2 miles? Because I was literally going on her shower and checking her miles because like there's something going on. And then we just got into the conversation. And I think going back to what you said, that we can, what I'm telling you is what you would tell yourself. I feel like that our friendship is kind of like, not kind of, it is. I have my best interest in you and I believe you have the same for me. And whatever I say to you, because I remember I was even saying to you, don't think I'm trying to convince you to wake up at 4 a.m. but give it a go. I'm not trying to make you into a early morning person. It's just give it a go. Because I felt as though, because this is how I have lived. I find it very hard to run in the evening right now. And it's one of another reasons why I wasn't committed to the challenge, because I knew at some point I'm going to have to run in the evening. But I'm more of a morning person. I train in the morning because I like to give the time to myself. When I wake up, I wouldn't even check my phone, nothing. I would work out, come home, have my breakfast, have a shower, and then I'm open to work. Then I'm open to other people, and then I'm open to doing other things. But my time was the first part of the day, was my time. So this was what I wanted you to try as well. Give the time to yourself, because I felt as though that you would go the whole day doing all these things, and in your back of your mind, I still need time for myself. I still need to go run. It's always hanging somewhere. And now that you have done that, you're like, okay, now I can give my time to other people, because you have prioritized yourself and being selfish with your time and just acknowledge that you need the time for yourself and then doing it. And then I think that helps you also, because I feel like it helps you show up better at work and better for other people, because you have had the opportunity to give the time to yourself. And I think also what I wanted to thought could be a problem was that you would run so late and then you have had all this dopamine and endorphins. So you was like awake, because you said to me, but how am I supposed to wake up that early? I was like, well, you have to just wake up, and then eventually you're going to get tired in the evening and you're going to have to go to sleep. But you're running in the evening, you get all the dopamine, all the endorphins, and then you go to sleep and then it all disappears. And this is what we were talking about before, right? That it all disappears. You kind of like wasted it in a way. Whereas now I feel like you have done the run in the morning, the workout in the morning, the cold plunge in the morning. And now you have all this dopamine, all the endorphins, and you're kind of like happy-go-lucky. And now you can be like, oh, I can get this work done and I can get the content done. And I'm glad so far it works well. I don't know. Well, we will see if it works, if you continue doing it. But it's just, it doesn't hurt to try. You know, that's why I said to you, just try it and see if it works. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. But at this point, whatever you do now, it doesn't work. So the changes, something has to change. You know,
Yeah.
worst case scenario, it doesn't work. And then you do what you was doing before.
Yeah, I think the hardest challenge that I'm experiencing right now is obviously my sleep is being compromised. And as somebody who normally would sleep 8 to 10 hours a day, that was my superpower to be able to continue to run so many miles and to recover. And so I am aware of the fact that running on 6 to 7 hours of sleep is not ideal for like what I'm used to. But at this point, I'm just allowing myself the opportunity to be okay with that small sacrifice to be able to show up elsewhere. My HRV is going down because of that. I can see my overall health stats decreasing because the lack of sleep. But on the opposite side, it has given me the opportunity to be able to focus on some other things to increase HRV that perhaps I was lacking. For example, I have been forcing myself to cold plunge again, and I took a whole hour yesterday to work on my body, and all I did was scraping, yoga, stretching, foam rolling, and just overall like really taking the slow time to figure out what's hurting and just sitting in that pain and like trying to roll it out, scrape it out, which is just like a week ago. I feel like if I were to be like, oh, I have an hour to essentially like do rehab, I'd be like, oh my gosh, where am I going to fit that in? Somehow I found it really easy to fit that in yesterday. So I'm realizing that like sleep doesn't need to be like the only answer to increase HRV and make sure I'm injury free. It can just be like sleep, and now I have time for other things. And I'm hoping with experience, like I'm only, 1 week in. So with experience and just overall different habits, that I can do both. I can learn to sleep again for longer periods of time, and I can still have time to spend more time just working on my body to prepare it for like the volume that's hopefully to come.
Yes, because it's baby steps. I think we spoke about it yesterday. I said you can't just change everything at the same time. You have to, this week you're doing your runs in the morning. Next week you might start going bed earlier. It's just baby steps. You can't just change everything in one go and expect it to go right, right? Yeah, I think you're doing amazing. And also, just talking about this, I thought about what I have been thinking about before, like years ago, how I have been told actually before that I'm very selfish with my time, and I would not cancel, like I would not make plans if, for example, I wanted to work out at the time. And people would say like, oh, it's not that important, it's not that important. And I would, or even sleep, like sleep is really important to me. And if I'm going bed, I'm going bed. You know, I don't care. Like there could be fire. Well, not really, but there could be fire next door or something. Like I'm so selfish with how I give time to myself. And this is just because I know how I would show up for others. And if I'm not, and I think this is what was happening to you, you were not showing up for yourself. So you wasn't showing up for others, i.e. work, content, relationships, friendships, or anything like that. I think we have to all find the thing that fully fills your cup, and then have whatever time is left, whatever energy is left, you can give that to others and give that to work or anything. And this is why I have really been keen on giving the time to myself first thing in the morning. And I think I have heard somebody before say, give the time for yourself. And I was already doing it. And then I was like, oh, this makes sense now. You know, it kind of like clicks in your head. Why can I show up so well for others? Because I have given the time to myself. And I think now you giving the time to yourself. And then, I don't know, I feel like though that you're just happier because you have filled your cup first.
Yeah,
And then you
I
feel,
agree. I think you said it best when you say showing up for yourself so you can show up for others. And perhaps my intention, when I keep saying my intention wasn't there last week, it was just like I had nothing to give to myself and nothing to give to others. So that's how I knew I was just like at zero.
I think you was just giving everything to others, not giving anything to yourself. And then that's why you kind of like lack the integrity, I guess, or purpose, because you was kind of, I'm doing everything for others, but I'm not doing anything for myself,
Yeah.
making that switch and maybe being a little bit more selfish with your time, which is okay. Like you can run with others in the morning as well, if anything, like you can have the quality time then. But if it doesn't, I think you just need to be, if it doesn't fill your cup, then you have to kind of like this is my time. I'm doing this now. And then I'm going to be a better friend, better partner, better everything later when I have filled my cup.
Yeah. Speaking of being better friend, I just want to take a moment to express my gratitude towards you this week. I feel I really trust in you, and I really feel like what Kitija tells me is what I would tell myself. And being able to find a friendship and a relationship to have that trust and vulnerability in each other, I feel like is rare. And the fact that we've nurtured a relationship to be able to support each other like that isn't something that I just think, oh, cool, thanks. Like, I feel like it's like something I very much nurture and show gratitude towards. So for this week's gratitude, I just want to highlight you and properly thank you for being a good friend for me to lean on, somebody I can show my vulnerability to, just being like, I don't have to perform for you. I don't have to pretend like it's something that it's not. I appreciate the friendship that say, Taylor, why are you only running 2 miles? To me, that's a real friend, not someone being like, oh, you're doing your best. 2 miles a day is still really good. Not to discredit my friends that do say that, but at the end of the day, it's like, that's not what I need to be better. And so like, I know that your intention is to make me better. So this week, I am grateful for you.
I love you. I'm so proud of you. Honestly, like you just being okay. When I was leaving States in December, I was really worried how our friendship is going to keep going, because obviously we are in different states and we are different time zones. And I just have never had that interaction with somebody living on the other side of the world. But now, months after, just seeing how we have flourished the friendship and how much trust I have in you and you have in me, I think months ago I said, I don't know what I did in my life to have that, but I'm very grateful and very happy that we found each other, and then we can just lean on each other and support each other. And I love you. I'm proud of you.
And next week we're going to be together. So if you're listening to the episode,
yes.
if you're listening to the episode, you only listen to the audio version, that's fine. Nothing will change. But if you're somebody who listens to the episodes on YouTube or Spotify and you hear the video version, we will be recording our video versions in person. So you'll actually get to see us in person. Maybe if you're an audio listener, just start thinking maybe next week's or the weeks to come, you tune into our actual videos because you'll be able to see us. And yes, I'm just so excited to be with you. We have such good plans, one of which we are planning on girls' night, slumber night, 100 miler, and it's gonna be so much fun. We're just gonna like do
100 miles slumber
do like
party.
a little I think we should do slumber party things. Like I think we should make friendship bracelets on the course. We should talk, I don't know, like gossip girly things on the course. We'll make like a whole slumber party out of it. It'll be so much fun. We'll see who can eat, who can drink the most pickle juice.
Oh my god, I'm not having no pickle juice. You shouldn't have any pickle juice either. But yeah, I'm so excited. I have been waiting for this day for months. I think in January, like right week after, I was like, I want to come back. I want to come back. You were like, soon. I was like, oh my god, I have to wait so long to come back. And yeah, I'm excited.
It'll be so much fun.
I know.
So that's what I'm grateful for. What are you grateful for this week?
Wow. Well, we already spoke about the challenge, and as I said, I'm still sharing, my Strava on my Instagram and obviously Strava as well. And this morning, well, not just this morning, in the last, I think once I started properly sharing that I'm doing Run the Day and I'm doing the challenge, and obviously the miles have been going up, people just being so kind to me. Honestly, I was just saying to you that I'm just a girl that runs. I'm just a girl. And this morning I woke up and I had a message from Abraham saying that I'm his favorite runner this month. And I was like, what do you mean? You just run from LA to Vegas. Like, I was following his journey and he inspired me so much. And then having that message that I woke up and I was like, how is this even real? Like, I'm just a girl that just runs the miles, you know, I'm nothing. I don't know. I feel that the accomplishments that I do, I don't see them as accomplishments. It's just something that I do. But like people messaging me and saying that I inspire them, girls that keep messaging me, they're like, oh my God, you're crazy. And I love it. You're inspiring me. And I'm so grateful for every single person, for every single message. And Sean messaged as well in the OutRun Us challenges and then saying I'm savage. And it just makes me laugh because it's so surreal. I never had that before. And in the last few months, the community has grown and everyone's just so supportive and I love it. And I'm so grateful for every single person cheering me on. And I keep saying, like, I appreciate, you know, when somebody says well done or killing it, keep saying I appreciate you and I'm grateful for you and thank you. But I feel like as the words can't explain how I actually feel. I even thinking about it now, like I want to cry because it's just so surreal for me to have this support. And yeah, I'm grateful for every single person being in my corner and cheering me on. And I don't know, there's no words to explain how it makes me feel.
That's beautiful, and I'm glad that you have the opportunity to share that. But I do want to make one correction. You just said that
Okay.
you can't believe that they're acknowledging you and congratulating you for your achievements, but they're not congratulating you for your achievements or what you're doing. They're just saying, hey, you're shining bright and you're vibrating at like a very high frequency, and we see you. And like, it's not your achievements that define you, it's literally just you. And like, we love and appreciate you, and like, we don't care how many miles you're running, whether it's 25 today, 26 tomorrow. It's like we are acknowledging your presence, your frequency, and your vibration. And like, it's you that we love. It's you that we say you're our favorite runner. It's not how many miles you ran that day. Just like with the small correction of like, everything's the same. It's just your actions, your miles are not what we're talking about when we say you're our favorite runner this month. It's has nothing to do with the miles. It's frequency, it's your vibe. And like, just remember, it's like you that we like, not your miles. No.
Wait, I'm crying.
Why are we always crying on this podcast? Come on.
Has there been an episode where we don't cry? Well, we're gonna have to not cry when we actually film this. Thank you. Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for you. I keep saying this, but I really don't know what I did in my life to have you in my life and being such a good friend and just the things that you say to me, I think it heals something in me every
Aw.
single time. I genuinely do think that there was a part in me that needed healing, and I think the universe brought us together for you to help me heal it.
I think it's also like what we're saying though. It's like, I think we both did the work independently. We both were running the miles independently. We both were like trying to vibrate at a high frequency independently. So like, you are who you surround yourself. So like, naturally we just like attracted each other. It's not like, oh, randomly we just happened to be coexisting. It's like, that didn't happen. Like, you know, it's like there's a reason we came together, but also we did the work to deserve pure, lasting, strong relationships like this. Like, also just like a testament of like who you are. I didn't randomly just show up and just start loving you. It's like you did the work.
Yeah, I think we both did the work to be able to accept this, to be ready
Yeah.
for, because I think us being selfishly us now and doing things for ourselves that we used to would do things for others, you know, put others in a pedestal, versus like now we make sure that we are happy with ourselves. I feel like that's one thing that I have noticed in you, that you are becoming more of a person that takes care of herself first before you take care of everyone else. And I'm really proud of that. And I think it was, I don't know if it was my influence. I did talk your ear off about if they don't make they don't make you happy, then you don't need to give your time and energy to anyone that makes you feel any less. I feel like we were ready to accept the love that we share and give each other. So I'm also not only I'm grateful for the community, I'm also grateful for you always.
Well, amen. Thank you for listening to this episode. If you got this far, obviously we love and appreciate you. We're sobbing over here. So if you like this episode, give it a nice little rating. Ask us some questions in the comments. We love hearing from you. DM us. Our Instagrams are at OutRun Us Challenges. It's a red little picture of Kitija and I. Kitija's Instagram is at Alter Ego, and Taylor is at Taylor_Rockwell. Everyone, keep putting your best foot forward. Live, laugh,
Wait.
love. We'll see you in the next episode. Let's rock.
Bye.
Bye. Don't hang up.
Bye.
I always feel stressed now.